who offers the best SEO advice. Hey, what is up, guys? It is Harrison Barron, the Millennial Entrepreneur, and like I just said, let's figure out who offers the best SEO advice, when you guys might want to follow these people, and ultimately how these people are going to impact you and your business. So if you're new here, my name is Harrison Barron. I am a Millennial Entrepreneur. I own a digital marketing agency as well as a personal brand, harrisonbarron.com, and I have watched, I'm not even kidding you, thousands and thousands of hours of YouTube videos learning SEO and ultimately improving my skills at my agency and for my personal brand to help me rank on Google for a variety of different keywords. But if you're here, you're probably wondering why I am making this video and why I want to compare these people. Well, I think that every single YouTuber that is making SEO content, for the most part, has some idea of what they're doing. It's pretty rare to make a YouTube channel and not know what you're doing. Chances are pretty good you're just never going to grow and you're probably going to have a lot of dislikes on your videos. But I have pulled up some of the bigger names on the platform, and I want to share with you guys when you guys should watch them, when you guys might want to be interested in getting involved with them, and then ultimately how to tie and use all of their information together. So I've pulled up a handful of channels here, I think about 6 or 8 of them, and I want to break down who they are, what they are, and I'm even going to go through the YouTube search results so I can give you guys some feedback on it and what they are looking to do, right? Because obviously, everybody on here is looking to make some kind of money, right? There's no such thing as a free lunch. All of these people have some way or another to start making some money. So I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts and opinions on all of these people, and you guys can make your own decisions at the end of this video. I'm also going to throw in my own opinion at the end. This is going to be a bit of a longer video, but I think that this is worth its weight in gold for you to save a ton of time when you're on YouTube. So let's jump into my computer here and let's go through it. So first things first, let's just look at, I just typed in SEO. I'm not going into tutorials or anything like that. I just wanted clearly SEO. Now, you're not going to have all these little fancy things on the side. That is just all my plugins that I use and figuring out what happens and where they happen. But just typing in SEO, you're going to see a variety of different people showing up here. So you have Brian Dean, you have WP Beginner, right? We have AHREFS, Brian Dean again, Neil Patel, Nathan Gotch, Miles Becker, Simple Learn, AHREFS, Neil Patel again. It's pretty heavily dominated. Hey, look at that handsome guy, right? So pretty heavily dominated. You got Income School of a variety of different channels. So I've pulled up all the channels that I personally think have provided value to me. Now, I could not possibly pull up every single channel, but I've thrown up some of the channels that I think are really, really valuable. And then ultimately, if you're first starting out your SEO journey, where you want these people to fall in line based on my personal experiences. So to give you guys a little bit of framework on this before I completely dive in, is I started my agency about 3 years ago. We did a lot of social media, and after about a year and a half, we started to incorporate websites, and then we figured, hey, we gotta learn how to get more traffic to people's websites. And not everybody wants to spend money on ads, right? They don't want to hand their paychecks over to large corporations with the hopes of getting sales and possibly not getting those sales. So I pulled up all of these people, and these are just the people that I've learned quite a bit of information from, and a lot of them have really, really good information. So right across the board, as a good blanket statement, you're probably eventually going to follow all of these people, but the order is what matters here more than anything else, because if you don't follow the order correctly, you are going to be completely lost in all of this. So now let's jump back into my computer here. So right off the bat, I have AHREFS, Brian Dean, Neil Patel, Nathan Gotch, Miles Becker, Income School, Matt Diggity, Wholesale Ted, Ryan Stewart, and myself, right? And I gotta plug myself because honestly, I have nothing to gain. I don't really have anything to sell. I mean, I have a Wix SEO course and a Kajabi SEO course, but that's really for a very small audience of people. But I'm sharing everything that I'm learning and testing along this entire process. So right off the bat, AHREFS. If you're new to SEO, you need to go follow AHREFS immediately. And the reason why I say that is because AHREFS is a company. It is a full-blown multi-million-dollar business, and they sell an SEO tool that is worth its weight in gold. Now, you probably are familiar if you've done any research as far as SEO, Neil Patel. And Neil Patel does have a great tool called Ubersuggest. However, AHREFS and SEMrush are the gold standard. Neil Patel is trying to make some market penetration. However, is that working? I don't know. It's a steal for what he offers. You can buy it for a life for a couple $100 as opposed to AHREFS and SEMrush, which usually have a barrier to entry of about $100. Now, their goal is strictly for education, and they use their tool to show you how to do a lot of this. They are positioning their tool as the solution, and that is how they're making money. But other than that, they don't have anything else to gain other than you going and buying their tool, which is about $100 a month or $1,200 a year, right? So they're going to cover everything that you're going to want to know in a pretty unbiased approach, because their goal is to make you or have you go buy their tool, and then when you go buy their tool from there, then you can use and implement all the skills that you've learned. However, because it's a corporation, they have to be very careful on what they talk about and what they actually mention versus the maybe not so sexy area of SEO. But other than that, I've watched a bunch of these videos already. And you'll go through, and for whatever reason, my YouTube hasn't been remembering anything that I've watched. I still don't understand why. It's re-recommending the same videos that I know I've watched multiple times here. But you can go through. I mean, there is a lot of training in here, right? I mean, they have a whole training course built right into their YouTube channel. They have a whole ton of videos in here. SEO tips, 7 attributes to high-quality backlinks. Overall, great channel. Definitely one that you're probably going to want to start with. Next up, we have Brian Dean. Now, Brian Dean is a phenomenal guy, and I think he means really well. A lot of what he talks about is what is called backlinks. That is a link from another website back to your website, right? A backlink. The catch with that is backlinks are usually significantly further down the road. So what do I mean by that? When you have a website with 50, 60, 70, maybe 100 articles, that's about the time you want to start following Brian. If you don't have that many articles on your website, I love Brian to death, but what he teaches is more for the people that are a little bit further ahead than most people. If you're just starting out, do not go follow Brian Dean or give him a subscribe. Make sure that he's on your radar, but just know that the value that he's going to be providing is really not going to be that relevant to you until down the road. Now, what I would recommend is if you do choose to watch his videos early, know that you're not going to be implementing them, but keep aware of what he's teaching you, because what he's teaching you can be implemented along that whole period and timeline. That way, when you're actually ready to start developing those backlinks and his, I don't want to say cheats, but strategies on developing more and more backlinks, you'll get a lot more value out of it than just simply going through and hoping for the best, right? Brian Dean is very much so I don't want to say cherry on top, but he is definitely one of the latest parts, maybe the whipped cream on top of your ice cream here. He's not somebody that you want to first start off with, because the information that he's going to be providing, although extremely good, is more for somebody that's been further along down the path. But other than that, I mean, he has a ton of highly successful content, right? Complete SEO tutorial, but he teaches a lot of backlinks and backlinking strategies. And ultimately, that is without a doubt his bread and butter. If you look anywhere online, he is all over what is called Backlinko, which is the backlinking platform, I would say. And it's not necessarily a platform, but just where he teaches all of his strategies, right? Get more blog traffic. His information is going to be good, and he's been broadening out his horizons. But for the most part, a lot of his content is all geared towards backlinks and backlinking strategies. He also doesn't produce all that much content. I mean, 1 month, 2 months, he releases a video once every single month, usually, and his content is 7 years old. So he definitely has some skin in the game and some time in the game. Now, Neil Patel is somebody that, as crazy as it sounds, he has been the most vocal in the SEO community, probably since SEO was really popular, with his own personal blog, with his own videos. His whole goal with all of this is 2 different things. One, he wants to sell you a software called Ubersuggest. It is a competitor, or trying to be a competitor, of AHREFS and SEMrush. And if you watch his stuff and it seems to be too much for you to handle, he encourages you to reach out to his agency called Neil Patel Digital, right, where they will do a done-for-you service. Are they legit? I don't know. I've never bought from them. However, he mentions it in every single video. Ultimately, hey, if you want to do it yourself, here's a bunch of free information. He makes it very simple to understand. He is a great place to start if you're starting your SEO journey. He has tons and tons and tons of content. I literally, it would take forever to scroll all the way back. I'm just going to do this quickly here, but you can see that he's been on YouTube now for 4 years, and honestly, it's shocking to me if it was anything less than that. I think that he's probably has more content elsewhere on the internet, but he has had one of the most successful blogs as far as SEO and building traffic, and he learned how to do it very early on. And not that he's better than anybody else. I think he does a great job at explaining the information, and two, he just has a ton of content and a lot of experience doing it because he has been doing it for so long. Great content. If you're a newbie, definitely go in there, check it out. Once again, he has so much information on how to start, where to start. He has a free SEO course. It's pretty good. It definitely doesn't go in as depth, in as deep as I would have liked to see on a lot of information, but CRO best practices, right? How to fix your all your SEO errors. I mean, the content is good, but there's no way that he can cover all of the SEO errors in 9 minutes and 35 seconds. So just keep in mind, as great as it is, and it's very much so beginner content, it's not going to go as deep as most other people. Now, Nathan Gotch is a new person I've recently started following, right? So you have Nathan Gotch here, and I just haven't quite hit the subscribe button yet just because I pop back and forth to his content, but you'll start to see, I mean, he has a bunch of good information. He's probably like myself where it's a little less sexy as far as what content he's producing, but he does have a good track record as far as his content, right? Rank #1 on Google. He's kind of been all over the board. He's been making YouTube videos now for about 3 years, and it seems like he's producing more and more content over time. His content also follows a very similar format as mine does, where it's longer form content. It's not short term. It's not, hey, here's 10 minutes. He's definitely going to go a bit deeper, but you have to have some knowledge of what he's talking about before you actually go in and start following him. But he is honestly a great resource. He knows what he's doing. He speaks about it, right? And he talks a lot about SEO, but he's also breaking into other areas, right? You have your 7 business books on here. You have SEO techniques, right? But they follow a similar pattern, but why quality content is a lie, I would very much so disagree. You got to take it with a grain of salt. He definitely knows what he's doing to some degree, but you have to take it with a grain of salt with him. Now, Miles Becker is a great friend of mine. The guy knows what he's doing. He's been producing videos now for quite a while. He's got, I think, 650 videos on here. Tons of value in his videos. I follow a very similar format to his where it is less polished, less, I don't want to say shocky or shiny, but it's not that Mr. Beast quick adrenaline rush. He goes very in depth with a lot of content. He's very open about his money, what he's doing. The other reason why I really value what Miles has to say is he's constantly working on small little side projects and testing them, which is something that I see a lot of these big SEO agencies or big SEO people like Neil Patel who are not doing. Neil Patel is constantly working on his own stuff. He has yet to mention a lot of these smaller projects that he's getting involved with, where Miles, on the other hand, talks all about his more recent thing where it's a affiliate marketing website, and it took him, I want to say, 1 year to get to $10,000 a month or something like that. I forget the exact numbers, but he talks all about the journey and what he's doing and how he's doing it over and over and over again. And he is literally in the trenches kind of with you. It makes it feel like you have somebody sitting right here where they are going to guide you through this entire process, which I think is really, really valuable. I watch a lot of his content, probably too much of his content, but the nice part is it's extremely relatable. He breaks it down extremely well. I am following kind of his style of video, right? Miles, if you're watching this, I definitely have a better camera. But other than that, I mean, the guy is rock solid. He's further ahead than I am. He's been in it for I want to say 13 to 17 years of SEO and digital marketing, and all of his money comes from online sources. So, I mean, he's a swell guy. He teaches a lot of content as far as what I like to teach and similar teaching styles where it's a one flow process through all of this. Next is going to be Income School. Now, I really do enjoy Income School. If you're starting out, Income School is a great place to start. Now, keep in mind, all of these people have different services to purchase. If there was one service that I would say, hey, if you want to leave your full-time job in the next 2 years, I would highly recommend one of two places, Miles Becker or Income School, out of all of these. And the reason why I say that is because Income School is another in the trenches channel. I mean, that's the easiest way to put it. They are in there all the time, constantly buying new websites, firing up new websites, trying to get websites to 1 million views per month. I mean, they do a phenomenal job when it comes to this information. So definitely keep that in mind when you're going through this entire process. If you follow or find Income School, their content is gold. Now, they definitely don't go as deep as I would like them to on a lot of their videos. They definitely neglect to go into keyword research a lot of times. They do a very shallow dive into a lot of the content, but it's really, really, really good information. And once again, they're doing this stuff side by side. So every piece of advice they're giving you is more geared towards the beginner level, which I do value tremendously. Once again, Miles is very much so like that, where Neil Patel, yes, he teaches a lot of beginner stuff, but he's not testing a lot of the new stuff, or I feel like he's not testing a lot of the new stuff on brand new websites, which in my opinion is a little frustrating. But other than that, I mean, these guys have gold in their videos. I say guys because it's two guys that run the entire channel. It's I almost just said Rick and Morty. I forget their names off the top of my head, but I mean, they have some really, really good information for literally anybody starting out at any point. Now, these guys also teach blogging and how to make money blogging, where a lot of these other companies will either teach you the SEO side of it, or in my opinion, Miles teaches you much more on how to grow a business around your content and ultimately turn that into money, where Income School is more of a passive type process. Miles is a bit of a passive with a more aggressive approach, where you might have Facebook ads involved, you will have funnels involved. This is more, hey, here's all my affiliate links, give me money every single month. Either way, totally up to you on what you prefer. That is why I also enjoy their content. I mean, they make an incredible amount of money. They've turned websites around pretty quickly. But keep in mind, along with all of this, SEO is not a short-term game. So next one is Matt Diggity. So Matt's had a great run with SEO, but he's definitely done a little bit of sketchy stuff in the past. When I say sketchy, there are some terms and things like that in the SEO world where you just got to be careful for them. If offers, I'll leave it at this. If offers seem too good to be true, they are, right? That's it. But other than that, I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. He's been in the game for a very, very long time. He now has an agency, the Diggity Marketing, right? It's his last name, Matt Diggity, who runs the entire company. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. I haven't watched too much of his stuff, but I've actually purchased services from his companies. They always seem to do a pretty good job as far as ranking up websites. But other than that, I mean, you just give the guy a shot. I mean, he definitely knows what he's doing. He's been building a brand. He's well known in the industry. That Matt Diggity is somebody that just knows what he's doing. I mean, he's no joke when it comes to that. He's been on YouTube now for 5 years. He's definitely been marketing longer than that. How old he is and that kind of stuff, I don't quite know all that information. But other than that, I mean, the guy definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to the information you're going to get. That's all I could tell you. He's going to be pushing you towards a product. That's the kind of guy he is, right? You might not see it up here, but I can almost promise you that he's going to mention it in one of his videos and possibly even underneath these. And I'm not against that. I think that, you should definitely go check it out, right? There's the full article. If there was not a call to action on here, I'd be concerned. But, I mean, it's a long article. The guy knows what he's doing, right? Want to rank easier, higher, faster. There it is. And he, as seen on AHREFS, New York Post, Search Engine Journal, and Moz. I mean, he definitely has proof in the pudding. He knows what he's doing. His content is great. He's using his iPhone to record, and he might not always use that, but overall, definitely somebody you can trust. Just take it with a grain of salt. He's going to be pushing you to a sale. Now, Wholesale Ted is somebody new that I've recently found. They teach more overall digital sales than anything. I don't see, and the reason why I brought Wholesale Ted up is just because when you type in SEO, she comes up, but there is a ton of content on here. How I built 5 streams of income in my 20s, 7 things I wish I had. It's more of one of those flashier websites, right? Shopify, step-by-step tutorial, 50 ways you can invest and earn money passively. I mean, it's a lot of good information. I don't think that any of this information is bad in the slightest. Just keep in mind, it's more for making money. It's more about those quick sales. It's not geared towards SEO. It definitely is more about growing a business, but it's some of it's surface level, some of it's not. And when I say surface level, you can tell right off the bat, if it's over 15 minutes, chances are pretty good it's going to not be surface level. But if it's under 15 minutes, it's going to be more surface level type content. Being a woman entrepreneur, I mean, it's not specifically advice that you would want to watch all of. You're going to go in there, you're going to dabble. It's kind of like an appetizer at a restaurant, you know, family style restaurant. You're not going to have everything, right? That you're going to have a little bit of everything, and that's kind of what she provides on her channel, Wholesale Ted. But other than that, I mean, kudos, 816,000 subscribers, phenomenal. Right, once again, pushing you to a website, which I'm totally in favor of, right? Get the free book. I can almost guarantee this lands on a sales funnel, which will ultimately convert into a sale, depending on how many people go and check it out. But other than that, great for her. I think that's awesome, right? Sarah Crisp is her name. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you're looking for some information or some different areas on here. Last but not least, we have Ryan Stewart, somebody I more recently found. However, I spoke to a couple buddies of mine. They said that he is probably not the loudest entrepreneur, but or SEO expert, but he is the man when it comes to SEO. He teaches all about SEO, going through the entire process. He is way less energized than most people. He's very calm. He's very cool. He's very collected. He speaks with good passion and good thought. He's a little slower. I get good vibes from him. I don't feel like he's trying to sell me on anything. He has a free SEO course. They do have a paid SEO course. I'm not going to disclose how much money it is, but it is in the thousands of dollars. He also owns an agency called AHREFS, where if you need help or you need SEO services, they do offer that to you. But I mean, the guy has a ton of content on here. He's definitely not once again, he's not the most famous for his content, 35,000 subscribers, but his content, he knows what he's doing. He's definitely a trusted resource. He's been on here now for about 6 years. He's already he's already made and sold an agency. So keep that in mind when you're going through his stuff. I mean, it's a great bit of content. He has so much information on how to make sure that, especially if you're an SEO agency, he's definitely somebody you want to check out. He has a ton of information on there. And then last but not least, myself, because I'm going to give myself a shameless plug here. I mean, look, I'm a small channel. I've only been doing YouTube now for about 3 years. Realistically, like 2 years is when I started taking it seriously. As many of you guys know, I've done 120 YouTube videos in 120 days. And now I'm starting to play around with some different tech. I mean, I'm going to be talking a lot about keyword research, and I've made a bunch of videos on keyword research, but my content hasn't been out there as long as many of these other guys have. So I'm making a huge content push right now. I'm still doing a video almost every single day, but I mean, it's great content on there. I have to give myself a shameless plug. I mean, it's cool. That's what I do, right? But other than that, I mean, I hope this video helps. I hope that you guys kind of figured out where these people belong. You can start to grab a little bit of information from each one, or if you have some specific questions, go on YouTube. It's the second biggest search engine in the world, followed by Google. So go make better content. Go make good content. Just go start doing something, and because of that, you will grow over time. I can almost guarantee it, right? I mean, I have 369 subscribers now. I think that's going to keep growing. I'd find it hard to believe that it doesn't. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I'm really enjoying the process of creating new content, and ultimately, I'm not a big typer. Although I do love SEO and I love the more technical side of it, I don't like writing the content. I like tweaking it, modifying it, better calls to action, the funnels behind it all. That's the stuff that I find really fun and exciting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got some value out of it. Hopefully I saved you thousands, maybe hundreds of hours of pulling content in different areas, right, and where these people all belong in the process. I probably should just go back and mention my stuff you could follow at any point. I mean, it's going to just be covering more, I don't want to say broad brush topics, but there's a lot of areas that I go really deep in, and then areas that I kind of pull out from, kind of like Wholesale Ted. Ryan, once again, he's all about SEO. He's probably towards your more advanced stages. I'd say if you're just beginning, you're probably going to want to start off with Neil Patel, Miles Becker, and Income School, and they're going to give you the most amount of value for your time. And then as time goes on, you're probably going to break out into Nathan Gotch, AHREFS, right? Maybe Wholesale Ted, Ryan Stewart. And then last but not least, I'd probably finish it off with Brian Dean. That's my lineup as far as who I'd follow, when I'd follow them, and the value that I would imagine you're going to get out of it, right? So where to follow them, the steps in the process to follow them. And by doing this and watching a bunch of this content, you're going to get really good at SEO for free. Now, look, everybody's selling something, right? And I'm not selling anybody anything. If you guys want a streamlined process, leave it down in the comments below of what do you have to do at every single stage. A lot of these guys cover it, but it's broken up into multiple videos. I'm happy to make a video on that and give it away completely for free, right? That's the kind of person I am. I really don't particularly care about sales, as horrible as that sounds, but My content is there to ultimately help people grow their business, and I want to help more people like myself. I'm 28 years old, I'm a millennial entrepreneur, and I want to help more people either leave their full-time jobs or just make more money passively. That's the best part. I mean, I don't make that much money right now from Amazon, but it's pretty cool when you wake up and you're like, oh, there's a couple extra dollars in my account that I would have never, I haven't worked for in weeks. So that's the cool part about it. I hope you guys found value in this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Other than that, hit that like button, little subscribe button, notification bell, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.